Okay, so let me start with the session, the hype around new programming languages and reality checks. So yeah. So if you see, right, hi, I am Neha Modi. I'm a senior software engineer at Visa Incorporation Singapore, and I have been in the development and full stack development for around 9+ years now. And recently, I am a mother to an 8-month-old, and I'm enjoying life. And I'm here to share some of my experience about the programming languages that are going around. We can see a lot of new languages that have come into picture, and the reality checks. We are going to discuss about what is the actual reality around these programming languages. So here we go. So I will start with the and then about the statistics and the live examples. Then what we are going to discuss is why do we need the new programming languages? What is the need around it? Then we are going to discuss the hype, the reality, the predictions, and then we are going to see what exactly is the right programming language for us, how to find out. And then later we can go over to the question and answer session. So let me start with it. Okay, so I think there are a lot of ladies who have bumped into this session, and I think they might be thinking about what is programming. So let me just give a quick introduction. What is programming, by the way? So programming is basically a set of instructions that you can give to the dumbest and the most obedient machine on earth. And I think this is just opposite to your spouse. So maybe the instructions that you can give as it is will be reflected in your output. So this is the one. So we'll be discussing about what is the hype about with the new programming languages that is coming up, then the right programming languages for me, and we are going to discuss the stats around the back end, the front end languages, and the stuff around it. So let me share the statistics. So these statistics I have got from the Stack Overflow. So basically, the Stack Overflow is the one is the most renowned developers community over here, and I think everyone across the world just goes on the Stack Overflow the moment they encounter any of the programming issues or anything technical they have. So I have got some data that is basically the loved languages and the wanted languages. So basically, they perform the surveys every year. And why I thought of taking the data from this platform was because they have a huge community of the developers, and we could be somewhat near, or we can have some correlation with the actual data. So I got the data for the past 4 years. So I took it in the span of 2 years, like for 2016, then 2018, and 2020. So what basically is the loved languages? These are the languages that is the ones that the developers who are developing the language have shown interest in continue to develop with it. Okay, so they are still developing these languages, and they have shown an interest that they will continue to use these languages. So if we see over here, right, we can see that Python has been consistent from across 4 years. Then the JavaScript is also consistent. We can see there is a spike in Rust and Kotlin. And over here, we can see that Java is missing for the year 2016. If I say here, right, so Java is existing since decades, but why it's missing over here? So it's basically during the survey, it might not be one of the most loved languages during that time of the year, and that might be the reason that it's not shown over here. But yeah, Java is there into existence since decades, but this is just statistical data that we are presenting that will do a comparative study for the top 10 programming languages that people have voted for. Then coming over to the wanted languages. So basically, these are the languages that the developers who are not developing, they have not worked on these languages, but they have shown an interest in working on these languages in near future. Okay, so if we see, right, the Python is still very consistent, and people still have a lot of interest in working over it, and we can see that it will continue for next few years. And the same will be applicable for Angular JS and Node.js. for which have been there for quite a while, but we can see that this is quite consistent in the market. So this is some of the statistics. We can see some of the languages like Java, right? There is very low count of the people who still want to learn it or have an interest in this one. Okay, so we can see if we see over here, right, the interest in HTML and CSS, those which were the basis quite a long ago in the early 2000, have not been much in the interest area for developers community, and the interest is more into the new languages that is coming up. So I have gathered the statistics for the web frameworks in 2020, and I have tried to sum up the data in the form of a chart. And over here also we can see the loved and the wanted languages, right? So if you see over here, right, these are the loved languages. These are the ones that people actually want to work on and they're comfortable with. So if you see over here, we have React.js, we have Vue.js, we have Spring, we have all these languages. But if you see, right, the React.js shows an equal opportunity for people to learn. So this is the one that is still above the 20%, and it's more powerful than others. So if you see, Vue.js has also gained a traction in the recent times, and it is also one of the languages that people would like to learn and would like to go ahead with. Then if you see over here, like for example, Drupal, it used to be one of the languages, Drupal and Ruby on Rails, that used to be one of the languages early 2000 that people used to work on. But recently we do not see much of the hype around this one, and we can see that the interest have become quite low among developers to work on this one or to start learning this. So this is just a high level statistics that I tried to gather. Then I would like to talk more about on why do we need new programming languages. So before switching on the hype, right, let's evaluate why is the need for the new programming languages to come into picture. We were very happy with the Java, with Kotlin, Rust, and we were very happy with the C++. It was already serving our purpose, right? But what happened and why we moved over to the new programming languages in from past few years? So if I say, so first of all, what we can see over here is the business use case. So basically, the business requirements have changed, the use cases have changed, and because of that, we are supposed or we are required to come with something new language that can cater to those needs. So that's why we are shifted to new programming language. Then we have certain emerging problems. So there are problems in the existing systems, right? Even if I think of using a on the existing Java or C++ today, and I just build features on top of it as compared to the other languages, but I don't think it will serve the purpose because it will confuse the developers like what functionalities to use, because there may be chances that a functionality has been implemented in one of the versions of Java in the previous years, and there is a new way of implementation in the new versions, so that may confuse developers, and it may not give the desired results. So that's the reason that we have some other languages that serves the purpose from scratch, and we can just go ahead and use them. Then there is the evolution of thoughts. So basically, our thought process, our way of looking at things, everything has changed, right? So that's why we need the programming languages that in which we can leverage the usage of whatever are the new technologies going on, and that's the main purpose. Then there is a level of comfort. So if I tell you by my level of experience, the level of comfort, right, it was not that high when we used to work on the core Java in our previous days. It was like you have to spend like 5 to 6 hours in order to 5 to 6 years in order to gain a level of comfort in the language. And this is not the case with the current languages that we are working on to. So if you see over here, right, all these now we have the languages that are easy to learn. We can learn it within a span of few months, and we can gain a comfort level, and we can start with our application at any time. So that's the main purpose of the programming languages. And the another thing is hardware changes. So if you see, right, there's a lot of things like containerization and a lot of new things in VMwares, and everything has been introduced, right? So there are a lot of hardware changes. Our machines are more powerful now, and the the existing languages that we used to use, right, they may not be leveraging all those powers, all those uses, right? So it's better that we create a new programming language that can use all those features that are present with the new hardware changes. Then what we have is the ease to adapt. So basically, it's very easy to adapt. We can see, right, everyone is updating their LinkedIn profile, like certified in Vue.js, certified in React.js, certified in this and that. So it's easy to adapt. You can learn within very short span of time, and you can start working on it. And because we cannot spend like a year to learn something and then to start working on it. It's really difficult because the use cases may change and the problems may arise. So it's easy to adapt the new programming languages, and that's the reason why we are switching to new programming languages. Then the hype and the reality. um, okay, so the hype. So, what is the hype? So, the hype around the programming languages is mostly based on these pointers that I have listed down, and you can see the opinion about framework. So, I have seen across many of the developer communities on internet, like maybe we can take example of Dev, or we can take example of Stack Overflow. You can see meaning created around certain languages, right? And that leads to our opinion to learn those languages. So I think that makes it more hype, and I think it's better to go with our personal use cases rather than relying on the reviews that are provided on the internet. This is because I think personally that every person has their own problem areas, and they are looking for the languages that can solve their own problem areas. So I don't think that the that we should go around with the hype that okay, this language is learned by everyone, so I should go ahead and learn it. I seriously don't prefer that. It's better to see what is the need you have, what are the areas you need to cover, and then you should explore the new programming language. Then the second point is cons of a technology become pros for other. So this is the basis of this has been going on since ages. Whenever there is a con for a technology, there is another technology that comes up, and it has those features that solves the problem, and then people just move on to the other technology. So that will always be there, and that should be there. That's how the evolution happens. And but what I think at this point of time is that this may create the hype also. There may be chances that there are certain what I should say, the negatives for one of the technologies, but if it is serving your purpose, then you should go ahead with it. If it doesn't bother much, or you don't have much differences created out of it, then you should definitely go with the existing technology. Then there's a hype that more the languages learn, more the market ready you are. So I think that I have seen basically on the LinkedIn profiles as well, on internet as well. Many people, they have like n number of skill set, and I just feel one of the things like jack of all trades and master of none that I have mentioned over here. So basically, it doesn't mean if you have learned a lot of languages, you are market ready. It needs expertise. It needs expertise because once you are into the industry, once you are into the live projects, it's not about how many languages you know. It's about how much you know in depth a particular thing. So that's all about. So this is the hype thing. Then spotlight for best jobs. So the new programming languages, they are spotlight for best jobs. So one of the hypes. I don't seriously prefer that these can be the spotlight. The only thing that you need at this point is that you should have a hold on certain languages that are necessary, certain backend languages, certain front end, and certain database that is necessary for being a full stack developer. So that's the main idea behind it. Then appreciable annual remuneration. So obviously every one of us look out for something best for us, and this is also one of the thing that new programming languages, they provide us more remuneration as compared to others. But this is not the fact. It always depends on your skill set, your expertise on on particular languages. So this doesn't have to do anything how much you know about new programming languages. So let's come over to the reality. Now, so why we have this, so what is the reality around this one? If we see over here, right, basically we need to switch to new programming languages only if we have new cases which we cannot handle with the existing programming language. So that's the idea behind this. Then we have the data structures and algorithms, and they will be never be obsolete. They are always the main focus. So if you go for the interviews for any companies, major companies across the world, you will always see that data structures and algorithms are always the foundation of the interview. So these are always the focus point, irrespective of whatever languages are coming up and down. This is the one that always is the key. Then logic is perpetual. Okay, so this is the reality. So the logic is perpetual. So the logic will remain unchanged. It will be always be there, and there will not be any change in the logic. So you should always have the foundation in your mind. Then the approach to solution is different, not solution. So if you see over here, right, there is always, so there are multiple languages, right? Like we have Vue.js, we have React.js, we have Node, we have Vue, Angular.js. So all of them will definitely give you a login page, right? So they will definitely provide you a solution. But the thing that that will be different is the approach, how you reach to that particular login page, how what is the request and response process that happens. So this is the reality. So basically your purpose will be served by any kind of languages, and you don't have to jump over to the languages. Then if I see over here in the reality, right, major companies, they keep same framework often. So basically the major companies, whenever they have any project coming up, they always have like 5 to 10 years of timeline, and they always look into the languages that can survive for this time span, and then they start working on the projects. So the major companies, especially the service based companies, they never keep experimenting with the new languages. So they always stick to the existing languages, and they go ahead for a span of 5 to 10 years. So that's the main thing. Then the job description, that's a highlight. So if I see over here, right, if the reality is the job description that comes into the market is just a highlight, and you should not get carried away by what exactly it means, what exactly is there. So if even if they have listed down like 10 to 15 skills, you should not get carried away. It's basically an overview that you should get, and you should be able to correlate. So if you are proficient in JavaScript and there is something that is related to React.js, so you should be able to correlate that, okay, I can work on some of the frameworks because I have worked on JavaScript earlier. So that's the idea behind. You do not have to match one, you do not have to have 1:1 match for the job description. And I don't think any of the job recruiters go for it. Because it's more about how quickly you can adapt to new things. So they don't want the one who is proficient in a language and just come over and start working on it. So it's basically how quickly you adapt to any of the languages. So that's the main idea behind it. Then let's come on to the predictions. So we have, so what will happen? What will happen after 5 to 10 years down the line, right? What will be programming be all about? So what I feel, whatever I have read about and whatever my thoughts, I have just listed it down over here. So basically, I think is there will be drag and drop components, and what will be, it will be like a Lego that we create, right? We have certain blocks, we combine them, and then an application or a beautiful object is created, right? So similarly we will have certain blocks, they will do certain functionalities, and a particular block will be formed, or a block of an application will be formed. So that is the prediction. Then data is the new oil. So there used to be a about oil, and data is the one that is actually grabbing all attention throughout the world. And basically data is the single source of truth that we have. So the more you get into data, the better for you. So that's the prediction that I think about. Then the programming, it will be not be a college grad thing for that we'll start learning at later point of time, but it will start like mathematics. Like you learn mathematics in your earlier days of school, you'll start learning programming basics as well. So I think something like this will happen in future. Then there will be a concept of universal language. You do not have a different language to cater to different things. There will be a universal language. It will be something like a pluggable component, and you can just plug it and you can just have your applications deployed. So there will be only a universal language. Then AI, that is artificial intelligence, I think it will be a better programmer. So if you see over here, right, AI is already, I haven't worked much upon AI and I only have some high level knowledge about it. But yeah, if you see, right, AI may not be maybe the better programmer, and it will serve the purpose that is have right now, but it will serve a better purpose at after 2 years. Then, just on a lighter note, there will be no more same job description. So we don't have 20 items, and with 2 years of 3 years of experience, they'll be asking us to do everything. So that will be the changes that we can see. So yeah, if we sum up this one, this is like jack of all trades and master of none. So basically, we should always focus on the expertise for anything that we are working on. Now, after knowing this one, right, how will I know like what is the programming language for me? So what I feel is, sorry, yeah, I'll share again. Yeah, okay, I think you might be able to see now. Okay, so we had discussed these details that time, the predictions, and now I'll be coming over to. Now we know what is the hype, what is the reality, and what is the prediction. So we are clear. We are having a clear picture what exactly is the situation right now and what is going to be happening in the near future. Based on that, let's think about what is the right programming language. What is the right programming language for us? And what I think is these are the few areas that you can explore. And basically, you can. These are I think there are 8 to 10 items, but this will be very helpful for you to start learning anything. So if you are new to programming, then it's all right. But if you are already into a programming and you have a certain level of knowledge and you want to know what is the right programming language for you, or you want to switch to a programming language, how you should go ahead. So first of all, the skills. So basically, the skill sets matter. So basically, there are prerequisite for every language. So if you are in learning Angular JS, then basically you should have some idea about the HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. So these are the prerequisites. So you should always take these things in mind because they will be helpful in the learning process. Otherwise, you will be lost and you will not get anything at later point of time. Then we have the platform. So you should always know what platform you want to cover with after learning this language, where be it the mobile application or be it an Android application or something about a web-based solution or something, anything, right? So the platform should always be kept in mind. Then the thing is the popularity. So basically, I never go with the popularity, but why I feel so is mostly for the newcomers or for the for the beginners who don't have any idea about what to start with. So they should basically research and they should see what are the popular languages in picture, right? And then they can go ahead based on their area of interest and explore those languages. Also, if you are looking for a certain switch and you don't have any idea what I can go ahead with, so you can also take this option because I think it will be helpful for you at some point of time. Then the benefits. So basically, this is one of the thing, like if you are learning anything and if you are investing your 1 month, 2 month, or maybe a year, so you should definitely be aware about the benefits. It should not happen that you have invested a lot of time and at later point of time you feel like there is no use out of it. Then there is the usage. So usage is a must, that you should always think about what will be the use. The language is also similar to the benefits that you can think about. Then associated frameworks. So I think that you should be aware about what are the associated frameworks. So it should not be the case that you have learned a language for a span of like few months, and at later point of time you discover that the frameworks that support that language are not efficient, or they are not that market ready, or you will definitely need to switch to some other programming languages in order to be proficient, or in order to be able to get your job done. So you should basically always research on the associated frameworks for a particular language. And then annual salary projection. So we all are human, and we all search for jobs, and we always want some hike, or we always want a good remuneration based on our skill set. So we want the best. So basically this is also one of the factors that you can consider while learning any languages. You can just see the projection, what is expected. So we can see on internet, right, many times it shows the highest paid jobs in 2020, or highest paid skills in 2020. So definitely you should explore them as well, because it's good to see what exactly people are talking about. That's basically good. Then the level of expertise. So you should also analyze, like, what is the level of expertise, whether you want to be a beginner, you want to be an intermediate, or you want to be an advanced learner. That will help you in the learning process to evaluate things. If you want to be a beginner, you can just ignore few of the details. You don't have to go into the abstract details. But if you want to have the advanced level of knowledge, then basically from your first year of learning, you always have to focus on the abstract details that that particular language covers. So this is all about the programming languages that you should listen to. So now we can talk about the question and answer. So if you guys have any question and answer, you can just let me know. Okay, guys, so if you have anything, you can just contact me in the network area and there for a while, and we can discuss more things on it. Okay, bye bye. Thanks a lot.